Episode 3 of Titan Talk, welcoming Elissa Bayeh,
Thank you.
our brand new Titan coach. We haven't had a podcast in a while, but we're bringing it back to introduce yourself as well. We wanted to get a bit more stuff done before we have a few of our athletes going to Worlds. So apologies, it's been a bit of a delay, but we kind of do these, pace these out when we feel like. So I guess you just get surprised as the listener when we pop a new episode out. But yeah, welcome. Welcome, Elissa. How you doing today?
Pretty good.
You doing well? I wanted to get straight into it. I think it's good when we don't buffle on for too long for the listener. If we can get a 45-minute session in, that'll be good. But we'll see how we go. Knowing us, we might get close to an hour, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So how did you get into powerlifting and where did your journey start? So before coaching or anything like that, how did you kind of get into like fitness and lifting and kind of pushing yourself to be better as a person before even like an athlete and competing?
Okay. This is like, okay, I had to think how to make a long story shorter. I guess in high school, growing up, I was always really overweight. And then like COVID happened and I was going into like my senior years of high school. And I lost a lot of weight to the point where I got kind of unhealthy and I got really skinny. And then before the lockdowns had lifted, I was like, oh, I want to write myself a gym program. I guess social media kind of opened up the lifting space to me because that hadn't really been presented to me as an option. Like I knew guys went to the gym, but I didn't really see it as much of like a girl thing to do. And no one I knew from high school as a girl went to the gym. So I made my own program and I had actually looked into like studies and I was always like a science girly. So I looked into studies and I made a pretty good program that I would probably still follow now if I was a beginner. Got into the gym and training and I just wanted to be big and like put on muscle and I started a bulk as well. I trained for a little under 2 years before I did my first session with my then coach Lockie. So it was kind of funny, like he was running a little promo and my little brother put his name down and just to spite him, I put my name down too. I did a session with him and I kind of knew I wanted to get into powerlifting. I had met a couple people in the gym who did it, but I didn't know when and I wanted to do a cut first. And Lockie was like, why don't we just do both at the same time, essentially. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're kind of right. Why not? So I've been training for a little under 2 years and then I started powerlifting with him online out of Plus Fitness. And then, it kind of went from there. Like I had transitioned from like the bodybuilding style where I was always super diligent and I was training like 6, sometimes 7 times a week just because I loved it and I kind of fell in love with putting on muscle. And then that transferred well to powerlifting because I was like super ready to like be on a program and to follow a program. And I just kind of went all in like straight away. Lost like 10 kilos, did my first comp like a year and a bit in.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Your progress has been insane. From my perspective, it's been, I mean, I've known you for a while. I've kind of seen you grow up. You're a little bit like a little sister to me. I think when I saw you in the gym, and I remember you were chubbier. I remember you were heavier, and you were
because you used to PT there
but you were always like you were very shy. You were definitely more shy then. This when you were, I don't know, 17, 18.
I must have been because I started with Lockie when I was like fresh 18.
Yeah. So I remember I didn't like know you, but I remember seeing you in the gym a couple of times. I'm like, oh, she looks like she knows what she's doing. So that's obviously you probably didn't, right? But like you looked pretty good. Like you were doing your RDLs. You loved pushing RDLs. I remember that. I do them
like twice a week.
Yeah. And man, your progress has been insane. It's only been a couple of years, and you've actually. I think you said you were you just got stuck in, and you had that diligence and just like constant dedication. Like you were training 6-7 days a week. You were just like pushing it. You I feel like when did you were you always like that, or did you have like a flip the switch moment where you're like, oh, you know what, I need to make a change, or
I think
was a certain catalyst to that?
I think I was always very academic, and I think the tendencies I built through being so academic and like wanting to study and do well in school kind of translated because I was never a sporty person growing up. I did not like sports. Like I was like, not for me. Yeah. Because I was like, not for me. And then I kind of I was kind of put in and I kind of let myself get put into a box of being just like the smart one. through school. So I would put my effort into that. But then kind of once COVID happened, my willingness to like study kind of started to decrease because it was like, what is the point? It was depressing, and I was like, what is the point? And I was like, why am I putting energy into this? Like, what do I want to do? So I guess when the lockdowns lifted and I started going to the gym, my like willingness to go all in kind of went into more of my gym program and like working on myself in that way. And yeah, I guess that drive has always been there. It's just been projected into different things.
Yeah, the focus is different.
Yeah, the focus has been different.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's always kind of there.
Is that something I admire about you? Not many people I know that have the same drive and just commitment and work ethic and dedication as you, honestly. And I've seen that from like day one, and it's just obviously like comes to fruition and like differently every year, like as a obviously as like a uni student, and that'll lead into our next question very nicely. As an athlete, and now as a coach, because you've been how long? Actually, we'll get into that because that's a question. That's a question. But no, awesome. That's that. Yeah, I think if listeners haven't heard our previous episodes, we spoke about how I met Lockie, and it was kind of along the same timeline as you, in terms of like when you were around, like because obviously we're all a Rydalmere, right? So I started PTing there, and you and Lockie were training there, and I was the PT there, but I didn't know you guys. And obviously, like I met Lockie first, and then encouraged Lockie to start PT. And then he started PTing, and then obviously he started coaching you. So it all kind of happened like together. So we all kind of grew together, but we weren't like
different timelines.
A team like we are now. Yeah,
it's so weird that like
different timeline, but same location. And now we're like a part of the same team, and we're just growing weird together, which is really, really cool to see looking back. And it's only been a few years, not long at all.
Yeah, like I was training at Plus and you were PTing, but never spoke to each other.
Yeah, literally.
Crazy.
Yeah.
For so long.
Yeah, a long time. A long time, man. And even then, that's when I was into powerlifting, but it was towards the start of it, you know, and I didn't, I was just a young coach trying to figure out what I was doing. Yeah, very, very cool.
Really cool.
Awesome, man. Next question, how do you manage so you do a trip, you're currently doing, you got a lot on your plate, right? And this is why I said you're, obviously, you got to manage your time really well.
Yes.
I don't know how you do it, honestly, especially at such a young age. For any of the listeners at home, Elissa is not even 21 yet.
Hey,
she turns 21 in a few days. And the shit that you've accomplished is just like amazing.
Few days.
But you're doing a triple degree. You're running your own business, and you've got your own athletic endeavours. So you know, like you just competed at nationals a few months ago. How do you manage all of that?
Okay, maybe I should start off with what my degree is.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I study a triple with a double master's. So it's a Bachelor of Exercise Science, a Master of Physiotherapy and Exercise Physiology. So it's the first degree in Australia to put ex-phys and physio in the same degree, which is also why I did it, because I wanted to do both. And yeah, obviously that comes with its time commitments. It's not really an easy degree. It's pretty full on. But yeah, I guess obviously I have that, and then powerlifting coaching, being a PT, being an athlete myself. A big thing for me is time pressure. I work really well under time pressure, and all of those things have time pressure. Like with coaching, for example, I have high response times as well to clients, so I'm getting back to them. So that, and also have the drive to want to get back to them and make their programs better, and weekly updates, for example. Uni, you've always got something to do.
Like, kind of have to as well, because otherwise it'll sit there and you'll feel like, if you're anything like me, you'll be like, oh, I need to get it done. Like,
and
can't
there's
sleep
always
otherwise.
deadlines. So like uni, like you've always got a lecture to like watch. You've always got assessments to do, exams to prepare for. Especially right now, I have like exams nearly every week. And then PT is you're seeing the clients every week. So a big thing is time pressure for me. Actually enjoying what you're doing is a big thing. If I didn't enjoy any of the avenues I was in, I would not be doing any of them at the same time. And I guess with me as an athlete, for me, I just need to dedicate like my training time, and everything else kind of falls into place naturally. If my nutrition is a separate thing, that falls into all categories. But for training, if I'm there for 2 hours, I just need to put in 2 hours of work. And that's my training for the day done. I'm not really thinking about it as much apart from that, apart from nutrition as well. So I don't know how I have a calendar.
Honestly, I was going to say.
Have a calendar.
One word, calendar.
Time pressure.
I think a lot of people, like, I don't know how they live.
I wish I could show
without,
my Google calendar right now.
Yeah, yours is crazy. You've shown me plenty of times. It's an absolute nightmare to look at. It's like, it looks like the loaded candy tie-dye. Just whoosh, there's just shit everywhere, different colours. Just absolute, like, it could be an artwork at this point.
Like every day. But it's like, if I just need to know when I need to wake up, where I'm going for the day, and what time I'm finishing, and then I'll be set. It's like all out.
So obviously, like as an athlete, you got 3 main pillars. You got training, sleep and nutrition, hydration in one. You got a lot of other stuff too, but let's just talk about those 3. How do you manage them?
Okay, training. Well, so have a coach.
Do you obviously having someone in your corner, having a coach, but do you like schedule in what times and days you train in your calendar?
Yeah, 100%.
Me too.
Or I will not train.
Yeah.
So my training days stay consistent. Like they repeat every week and they don't stop through the year. When I'm making my uni calendar, like choosing my classes, I will try and choose around my big training days. So like right now, I know I have a big day on Tuesday and Saturday. Saturday is fine. If I can get Tuesday, like where I can have a big block of training available, I will choose classes around that as well at the same time. So they just stay in my calendar, and then everything else falls around that essentially.
So always, basically, you're telling me you prioritize your training like year round, amongst other things, obviously. But you put that in your calendar, and for the most part, you get in and you get it done like 99% of the time.
Yeah,
like you're getting in and doing those sessions.
Yeah, so like those sessions will stay blocked out. My smaller days, like my secondary and tertiary days, can get moved around. Like I just did a session at like 5 a.m. the other day because I needed to. That was like a secondary day. Yeah. Is that ideal? Probably not. But like it can get done, and I'm more willing to move those around.
You pick and choose your battles.
Kind of, yeah.
It's very smart, and I think. Like obviously, like that is very, very well calculated and smart and planned out. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. Not everyone's as organized as you, but I think you being a coach, that's probably a strong point too, because you might have an athlete come to you, you probably have, and you probably do have athletes that come to you and be like, Elissa, these are my days. You don't just go, hey man, that's your program, do those days. You want to know what they do for work, how laborious it is, like how intense it is, what days, what times they're doing what, if they do, shift work, and then put their days accordingly, like especially because they might have a big SBD day on a Saturday, or they might just have like a chill tertiary bench and upper day where you say, you can probably go into that day. If you have to have less sleep, it should be on that day, like pick and choose your battles.
So you probably will have ideal days to train on for you. Like it might be a bit different for everyone. Like right now I was doing my Thursday sessions at like 7:30 p.m. I would start my session, which is not ideal for me.
Not fun,
But
for
like
me. Some people it's normal.
Some people normal, not really my normal with how early I start. But I'm more willing to do that because it's a secondary day compared to a primary. I guess, that's the training side.
Yeah. That's cool. I think there is an art to that, like scheduling that around. And then, all right, your sleep. Do you have a certain sleep hygiene kind of routine or anything like that you follow?
Not really,
or time,
to be honest. Usually I'm getting around 7 hours of sleep, and that works well for me. Anything less, I start to feel it. But sleep is always a hard one, because it's probably the one thing I will let drop if need be. But honestly, like I'm someone who can work very efficiently in a short amount of time. So if I have enough time pressure, I'll get it done, and I've never really had to sacrifice sleep that much.
Cool. That's good.
But
because you need your sleep, because like you have a lot going on, and if you're not rested, and if you're not like fully there and switched on, especially as a business owner. You're in control of your income. You can't have a day where you're just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to call in sick. Even if you are sick, you're doing literally, I've never even, I don't even think you've done it. But even, not that there's anything wrong with doing it, but like if you're constantly doing that and you're not looking after yourself first as a business owner, You can't actually service your clients
100%.
to the best of your ability. You can't, you know, you're going to be just giving them half-assed answers, and you're just going to be like, oh, dude, I'm so tired, you know?
Yeah.
That's really important.
It's something I think about with, say, my PT clients as well. Like, I will have...
PTs even more so, because obviously
you have to be switched on
you're
right
there.
there.
It's 1 hour PT, in my opinion, as someone that's worked corporate, like proper corporate, it's probably 1 hour PT is like 2.5 hours 100%. Of corporate, because you're there, you're talking, you're giving so much energy, not just sitting there like
you have no time to switch
numbers.
Off. Like when you're sitting at a desk, you're not switched on for the whole 8 hours of work. You might be switched on for like 1 hour, and then maybe 20 minutes you turn off.
It's so inefficient.
Yeah, you don't get any time to switch off with PT. And I also think like if you have someone who's coming in for an hour, that is their 1 hour of the day that they've dedicated to you. That might be your sixth client of the day, but that's their one session with you. So you have to be switched on. You have to be giving them everything. It's 100%. Not fair for like your seventh client to get half of you, like half of your energy, and your first client to get 100%.
It's so true. It's so true. And making sure you really give them the same exact energy. Obviously, sometimes there's days where you just, especially if you have, but also it's up to you. Like if you're, as a PT, if you're pushing yourself to the limits and you're seeing 8 people in one day, every day a week, that's a lot. You know, and like if you don't space it out, don't give yourself a lunch break here and there, you're actually doing the client a disservice, 100%. Like you just said. So if you're on like number 8, you've done 8 hours in a row, you're not giving them the same service. It's almost like the online clients that are doing 80 clients. And it's like, are you really giving them the same service each? Really? Especially when you have other things going on. I question that, me personally, because I mean, I'm at like 25, 30, but I've obviously got other things going on, and that's plenty for me. I feel like if I was a full online coach, 50 to 60 would be crazy, let alone 70, 80, some people pushing 100. But you got to question the quality, right? Quality and quantity, 2 things you got to.
I think it takes a bit of trial and error to find how much you can take at one time.
Yeah, because everyone's different.
100%.
Like work ethic. You know, priorities, externals, everything, and like, different things going on.
100%.
Awesome. Cool. Now, on the topic of PT and coaching, how did you get started as a PT and a coach?
Okay. So obviously through uni, they presented the opportunity to do your Cert 3 and 4 as a PT for free through TAFE. So me, I was like, well, why not? I feel like that would be a good opportunity for me to work around placement hours in future, because I start placement from next year. But this was like, 2 years ago now? 1 year? When it first got offered to me. And I was like, oh, okay, that would be pretty good for placement. I should just do it. Like, it's free anyway. Why am I going to pay in future if I want to do it? So I did that. And I guess it kind of popped up randomly in conversation when you found out that I was doing my Cert 3 and 4. And I didn't really think much of it because I was like, I don't think I'm going to use it right now anyway. I just want to get it under my belt. And you were like... I'm
so glad I spoke to you.
Like, that's dumb.
Yeah, literally.
Why?
Yeah, I was like, don't waste time. And you're like, you're so right.
Because I had a reception job that I was going to go permanent in.
Oh, bro. Oh, my God.
So you were like... No.
How happy are you now that you've...
Oh, so good. So good. Like, I remember the conversation we had. We had like lunch. Yeah, I remember that. But that was the one we had after.
Yeah.
At the sushi
when we
place.
sat down,
Yeah, and I knew that was going to be a pivotal turning point, like, in my career. I just had a feeling that you literally grabbed me and threw me in another direction. I was like, ready to go.
That's sick, man.
So you're like, that's dumb. And I was like, all right. So I finished my Cert 3 and 4, and as soon as I finished, we started. Like, we got me in the gym before I finished my Cert 4.
We were so proactive. Like, you've honestly grown like astronomically quick.
We went, we got everything done
just
pretty
got
quick.
stuck in straight away.
I was like, let me smash out these assessments, and then we started straight away. I think we had our first session before I had started PT. And then, and then I started from there.
Crazy.
Getting clients.
So, to put into perspective, I didn't even start PT until, you're not even 21 yet. I was like 21 in a few months, you know. Yeah. And look at where you are now.
Yeah, I've been PTing for a year and a half.
Yeah. So, when I have people that, I think just under 2 years, it's been, I think when I've, peers that are like, oh, I want to try PT. obviously it's got to be the same passion. You got to want to do it. I knew for you, I was confident that because like what you're studying and your interests. And obviously we had a long chat because it's an investment like both of our working together.
Yeah.
And then obviously mentored you for a solid year.
Yeah.
And you just went absolutely crazy. I remember like the first 12 weeks you were pumping it, man. You were pumping it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take too much credit here because Elissa, honestly, like just everything I said, you did. And you were there. You lived at the gym, and like 12 weeks in, you had like at least like 8-10 clients. I remember like you had a good amount, and I was like, wow, you're doing really good.
Yeah.
And then obviously you came on board as a tight end coach a few months ago. Not long now. Time goes quick, but just recently. Yeah. So, that's been the process. So obviously we knew each other from Radomir and from Lockie and from training together at X Gym.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, look, sometimes you need that person that just goes, dude, like someone to shake your shoulders and just be like, you should look at, like, I wasn't forcing you. I was just like, dude, like that's there. If I was your age or when I was your age, like I would have done that, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
I think that's good to have because that kind of helped me as well. I remember before I did PT, I was speaking about like, I was just speaking about anatomy or something like that to my friend in the gym.
Yeah.
And some PT was like, dude, are you a physio? I was like, nah, bro. Like, I just watch too much YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you speak so like passionately about this and you're really into it. And I see you at the gym like 5 days a week. And I was like, yeah, I like it. I was like, and then I was thinking like, this is the only thing I like. This is the only thing going good in my life.
Yeah.
I hated my job and I was actually really depressed.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you should do PT. He was the first person and he was just a random PT.
Yeah. Wow.
And he was like, give it a go. Like it's easy, just get this and that.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not easy, but like it's, you do your certs and then you got to run a business. It's hard actually. It's very hard.
Yeah.
But he put that idea into my head and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and do it. Yeah. And then obviously I went through my own mentorship program through Prime Performance and I'll do that a million times over because it just helped me so much build the base because starting PT is like, it is running a business like first and foremost. And people think PT is just a personal trainer. It's not. You're a personal accountant. Yeah. You're a personal, scheduler. Everything. You're, personal programmer. Personal, like everything. Therapist. Like it's a personal therapist. Literally, it's not just training, man. And if you're strong and if you're jacked, it means absolutely nothing. As a PT. No. So yeah, that's so cool, man. I'm really proud of how far you've come. I remember we sat down and you were like, oh yeah, and I was like, dude, while you're studying, you can build a business and we can, and obviously you've done it at a really fast pace. We didn't even have to do it this quick, but like you're just setting yourself up really, really nicely. You know what I mean? For your future and for where you're at now and for your lifestyle too. Yeah. Like for you to be earning what you're earning, doing what you're doing with the flexibility that you have to facilitate your training as an athlete, your studying as a student, you can't do that with anything else to the degree you're doing. Yeah. So because we did that, like that's led you to where you are now. Yeah. So like that's just amazing to look back on. Yeah. Really, really cool.
Yeah, like I went to uni the other day. It was in the morning. I think at 11 a.m. class and I had 2 clients in the morning. And I got off the light rail and I was like to one of the girls, oh yeah, like I just came from work. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I had 2 clients. She was like, you already worked? And I was like, yeah, I just fit it in. Which I think has been the beauty of like working around
flexibility
uni. Because like with my course, you don't really get much flexibility. So I couldn't fit 2 hours of work at say like
you can't. Reception. No one wants you. No one's going to be like, oh yeah, do 2 hours of admin.
Hours, no. But I just chuck in my hours when I can.
Exactly. And you're in control of that, no one else.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a real big pro there. Yeah. Like it's not like, I don't want to sell the idea. Everyone should be a PT because there's a lot of other things, but like that is a huge,
big thing. Yeah.
Huge pro.
Yeah.
No, amazing.
Okay.
And on the topic of PT and coaching, what's your like most favorite thing about it? What do you love about it?
PT and coaching? Oh, that's such a big one. I think being able to take someone through a journey of small to big wins. Like, for example, I had a client this morning actually, which was a big win, which she was like, Elissa, I could reach behind me the other day and like I had no pain and I was
good.
so much more mobile, and I was like, oh, like this was a big win for her, which you forget. She was like, Elissa, I can walk up the stairs and I don't have to hold the handrail anymore.
That's actually quality of life.
Making someone's quality of life improve. I think even with powerlifting and coaching, having the small wins throughout the program to help see someone's confidence grow or to get small PBs and improve their quality of life and confidence is such a big thing, even like more so sometimes than competing, because you only compete once or twice a year. And if you don't love the process, you're not going to love competing. So improving the quality of life by seeing someone and helping them fall in love with the process of getting stronger is probably the biggest thing I love.
I would agree. And I like that you touched on the small wins too, because I think, I mean, you just, over time, you just got to learn that the small wins are more important than the big wins, because they create the big wins, you know, 100%. And you have to just like roll them back to back and just collect them. And then all of a sudden you go, stack them. And then you just go, oh shit, look what we've done, you know?
Yeah.
So literally with any and everything, every art, every craft, every sport, that's kind of how it is. You just got to put in the hours.
Yeah.
But really like, have a positive mindset and you got to enjoy the process. Exactly.
Yeah. And you're not always going to love every comp you do.
No.
You're going to have some really shit comps sometimes. And if you don't love getting back into it, then you're just never going to compete again.
Yeah, exactly. And sessions, you're going to have many shit sessions. You're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to go, what's the point?
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, then you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's a part of the process. I want to ask, tell me a bit about nationals. Like, how's I know this is a while. You got to recap back a bit, but tell me a bit about how nationals was for you, because that was your second nationals.
It's my second nationals. Second as a junior.
Yeah.
I would say probably my best comp to date. Yeah. Definitely, Alyssa. Best comp to date. I went 8 for 9. And missed because I fell over at the top.
Lucky. I can just imagine him right now.
Man throws up. Man. I think nationals for me was one of the comps that made me feel like I could compete. Because in my mind I had done, is this my 5th comp? 6th comp? I don't know, maybe 5th. I've lost count. But second nationals, and I always felt like I wasn't a good competitor yet. I could compete. Like, my really good comp was when I was doing an RP 8 comp and I was taking pretty chill. But my other ones, I felt like I fell short. Even though maybe in some other people's eyes it was a success, but in my eyes it wasn't. I think a big thing for me was going in and not being focused on anyone else but myself, which I felt like I did. Throughout the comp, after bench, Lockie was like, oh, okay, like we're going for 6, for example. These people are so far behind us, you're already ahead. And I was like, oh. That's cool. I had no idea where I was because I didn't look at the screens once, which was a big thing for me. I had no idea what other people were lifting. And I thought that would be a really hard thing for me to do. Ended 6 for 6 after squat and bench, which was a really big win for me. Yeah, I just wanted to get my final squat. I knew if I got that, I would be set and I would be happy with whatever happened. So that was an unreal moment for me. Benching 80 after not touching it once since November was a big thing. I didn't touch it anywhere in between. I think I failed it in between. And then deadlifts, it is what it is. My calves cramped and I fell over.
You actually had like a perfect day. Until the last second. Like, you actually locked it out. Yeah. I mean, but then you just cramped and you just obviously lost your balance.
I was cramping for my warm-ups.
I
was cramping first and second attempt. I just held on more. Yeah. But as the weight got heavier, it got harder.
The balance is harder.
Yeah, the balance was harder. And then, I couldn't walk after from cramping. So it was pretty bad. But, it was a really good day until I fell over. But even then, I was happy. I remember thinking to myself after I went 6 for 6 and I said, whatever happens, I'm happy with how this day went. Because I was happy with not even just my numbers, but how I felt as a competitor and how confident I felt in myself and how in my lane I was. I was like, this has been a good day already and I'm already happy.
The takeaways there is like, focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Because where focus goes, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
So if you're focusing on others beating you, they're probably going to beat you.
Probably gonna beat
If you just
you,
focus on just performing and just have fun, move some weight, that's what you'll most likely do. Have someone, you'll move some weight.
100%.
And also I heard someone say you should chase not the numbers but a certain feeling. And I fucking love that because that's what I live for. I don't like the numbers are great to see going up, but me personally, I love the feeling of feeling nervous for a lift and feeling G'd up. Like there's nothing that gets me hyped up like that. And I just chase that. I want that feeling.
Yeah.
And I when I feel like that and I feel on, like I just want to feel that again.
Yeah.
You know, like almost like a drug addict.
Yeah.
I just want to feel that. And I think if you focus on that and just focus on yourself, you'll be the best athlete you can ever be.
Yeah.
Instead
100%.
of anything, just focusing on other things.
I think even in my training, I'm never thinking about so much as like beating people in a competition. But whenever I'm going for a PR, I think about like the feeling of like when you're at the top of a deadlift or you just come up from a squat, like, holy shit, I just did that.
Yeah.
Like when I'm setting up for a deadlift, I can see myself like smiling after I've got it up. I'm like, I want that right now.
Yeah.
Is a big thing. Like on the platform and in training too.
Yeah, you got to, that's the thing. If you want to feel that way on the platform,
you have to feel
you should practice it in training.
Yeah. 100%.
That's what training is. You're training a certain way of thinking, a certain way of moving. You're training a certain energy to go into comp and then do that again. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Comp is not anything complicated.
Yeah, 100%.
You're just doing what you always do, like comp standards, how you move, how you G up, like your arousal, how you just talk to yourself. It's very, very important.
Yeah. I think before when I was doing my second deadlift, my spotter, I think it was Zena from Adonis, was behind me and I was doing my second attempt deadlift and she said to me, just like training. And I was like, you're so right. And then I did it. And I was like, that's something I had.
Reassuring.
It was reassuring to have on the platform because you forget that it is really just like training, especially now that I do primary SBD. It really is just
especially
like
for you because now you're doing, like literally the most specific way of doing a training day.
Yeah.
Like you're literally doing SBD in one day.
Yeah.
Or primary as well, right?
Primary
So
SBD.
Yeah. That's been a big game changer for you. I remember when I was talking to Lockie about it and when he made the change, I was like, I think that's really going to work for her. Yeah. Because obviously your last comps, you had your deadlifts not show up the way you wanted to. This comp it obviously did, but it was just a balance execution thing. Like it happens. Yeah. But besides the fact you got the weight up and it was relatively smooth and it felt exactly way better.
Yeah.
So I think that's working well for you, a bit less kind of like more exposure closer to comp with your deadlift and obviously having the squat and bench like roughly 7 days out.
And it's something that we've kept like going forward now as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll work well for a while. Awesome. No, that was a really good comp for you. Lots of takeaways and just your best comp so far. Yeah. And I think like having the ability to like compete with others, even though again the focus is you, like always, it's still nice to be like, oh, like I'm in the mix, it's a cool feeling.
Yeah. And also nice, I think this different to last nationals. All the girls, like the 69 girls, were all chatting to each other, all having a good time, all like supporting each other. I think it was a bit different to last year. Everyone's more comfortable now. Yeah. APA now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good vibe.
No, I love that. All right. We've got cool. So moving on from that, from nationals, what's the next 12 months looking like for you? And what are you most excited for? Yeah, it is a very big question, man, because if you look at what you've done in the past 18 months, probably wouldn't even realize where you'd be right now. Like, it's you've achieved so much.
I don't know what the next 12 months are going to look like, because I think a year ago I wouldn't have known what the next year would look like.
Yeah. What would you want it to look like?
Taking athletes to nationals myself.
Yeah.
Taking my own athletes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. So that's something big coaching-wise, like a big coaching milestone I want to tick off. And obviously helping you boys out at nationals and being at more comps to help out as well is a good time, and watching my friends compete and succeed, watching Worlds.
You've been so, like, I love what we have, man, the team that we've got. Like, having, actually, having you and Lockie out back when I competed at City Strength was the most fun ever.
That was
like,
a good
just
time.
because obviously we train together and we share, like, similar coaching philosophies. We're part of the same team. It just kind of makes sense. We know each other better than anyone.
Yeah.
In terms of how we train and everything and how we think, like literally everything.
Yeah.
And it's just so good to just coach each other on the day,
It's really
like handle each other. Yeah.
Yeah, to have someone handle you who knows your training, thinks like you.
Oh, it's the biggest
knows,
privilege.
like we know what your squat moves like when it's on.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's probably the best case scenario if you can't have your coach there.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Handle you. In terms of, say, uni, for example, I'll be on placement probably this time next year, which I know will be a big change. That's future me's problem, as I like to say, future Elissa's problem.
Yeah. Cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. As I said, like I've got PT and coaching to give me flexibility around that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Another nationals, see what happens.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I think you'll do some crazy stuff, man.
Thank you. I do want to compete internationally as a junior.
Yeah.
Is a big goal of mine. Whether that be next year or the year after. I've got 2 more years as a junior, so
that'll be around the corner. I know it.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything I've missed.
I think you'll do some big things in the 69 juniors.
Oh, hopefully. Gotta stay
And
there.
actually, speaking of 69, I feel like you had a good the weight cut was a lot better at nationals, like making weight.
It was better than Warriors.
Warriors.
Warriors was an interesting one. A bit too much walking.
Yeah.
Which is what my calves didn't like.
Yeah.
But it was easier than Warriors, I would say.
Again, another learning lesson, right?
Learning
Like next
lesson.
time, see if you can lose some
Yeah.
water without, walking too much.
Yeah.
That way your calves are a little less strained. Because I get the same thing when I compete. My calves get cramped up quick.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, when I competed, my calves were cramping on warm-ups too. I felt it, but I was just like, don't fall over. But to be honest, I pull conventional, so it's a lot easier to stand up.
Mine was really hard in the warm-up room.
Yeah.
Like, I was stressing. Because like from 70 kilos, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, really 70?
Yeah. Every warm-up I did was pretty bad. And Lucky was probably like...
Yeah, what's happening? It's just something you just have to deal with it. You just got to...
You just have to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What's
and
the
hope for
alternative?
the best.
Yeah.
It's not like I could really stop deadlifting.
Exactly, just go for it, man.
Yeah. But yeah, another learning lesson to put in the back pocket.
Yeah.
And,
that's what it's about as a junior, especially as well.
Yeah, and now's the time to make mistakes.
Yeah, you don't want to, you want to do it now, not at like an event where, like, say if, like, obviously that was really cool, like pulling from 8 to 6.
Yeah.
But like, imagine that was like third to first, or like fifth to first.
Yeah.
That it would have probably hurt a bit more.
Yeah.
So
That's
I think
what I
now
said.
is the time to make those mistakes. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like move forward, because every comp you're gonna make one mistake. It doesn't
100%.
matter how long you've been in the game. There's always people who are like, oh, you know what? Should have been a bit more switched on for that bench third attempt, or I should have done this. So there's always takeaways, no matter what.
There could have been way bigger stakes at hand, which is why I think I came out of that comp pretty content, because there wasn't much difference in my mind pulling from 8th to 6th. It made no difference apart from 2 placings.
Yeah.
But if I was pulling into podium or pulling into first or pulling for a QT, I think that would have stung a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
Make mistakes now.
Yeah. Now, a couple more questions before we get into some. Actually, let's go to this one.
Okay.
So, talk to me a little bit about being a female athlete and coach in a male dominant field.
Yes.
How's that experience been for you?
Yeah.
As a coach and an athlete.
As a coach and an athlete. It's a bit of an interesting one. I think X-Gym for me really opened up being an athlete, because I mean, it's not like really anyone bats an eye as a difference between like being a female and being a male in that gym.
Yeah. It's more so
all
external,
same.
like people that don't really know.
I think maybe more externally. It's like slightly less accepted.
Yeah.
Maybe even coming from like an ethnic background.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that a bit.
Yeah, it's like very much less accepted for a girl to be in the gym, probably training as much as I am. Bit of like a culture shock thing, and it took some time. That's pretty much the main difference. I think if I was a guy, it probably would have been a bit different. Assimilating into the sport more seamlessly, but I'm very strong-minded.
Very stubborn in a good way, and strong-minded,
in a good way.
Which is really good, because you just make it happen. You go, you know what, I'm going to do it, and then you can look at me when I'm successful. I'm sure your parents are like, fuck, you're doing really well now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
bless them. It's also kind of an understanding thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's powerlifting?
There's no,
like,
yeah. And also what you don't get, it's hard to like support or, you know,
100%.
like push something that you don't understand.
Yes. It's
So I get where it comes from. But it's definitely a big thing that I've noticed. Like yourself, like all WOG girls, you know, especially. You're going to have family members that are going to be like, oh, you shouldn't lift. You're going to be too bulky.
You're going to look bulky. You look like a man.
You're going to look like a man.
Yeah.
And it's like, bruh.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
like,
how it works.
Especially powerlifting, I'm like, I'm not doing it to look a
Yeah.
certain way. I just want to be strong.
Yeah.
And I love doing the same thing every day.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Like pushing other females as well to like aspire to be stronger rather than be smaller and take up less space and just be like really
100%.
weak and petite and like, oh, you know, I'm a girl.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
strength training is really, really good. I think when I was like I love training females. I don't have many females. I train mainly males, but I love training females. And when I had a few female PT clients, that was the best because you just see the biggest confidence boost, more so than males.
Yeah.
It's so big. It's and females just get way more out of strength training than males do, like 100%. Like it's in terms of from where they started to where they are now, in terms of mindset and like just body changes. I feel like feeling the like stronger because you know obviously if you have like the same person, you have the male version, female version. It's just like the male's obviously going to be stronger due to having more testosterone or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, it's just an inherent thing.
Yeah, so like a female training and like obviously being more predisposed to, you know, osteoporosis and all these other things of just breaking down as you age, as we all age. It's like strength training is the biggest thing that can really delay that aging process and or make you feel like confident in yourself and be like, you know, I'm strong. I can, you know, if I don't know, in an emergency situation, if someone's like falling over, you can just pick them up. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, or even, you know, like we have, you know, like we might have some events, right? Yeah. Like for loaded candy where it's like an expo, hey, you got to move these boxes of candy. Bro, some people like, especially like some like younger females, they're like, oh, I can't pick up this box. And I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot like some people just can't do that. Yeah. Because I'll have you and I'll have Ava that just fucking go, you know what I mean? And it's just like you said, it's like your client that couldn't scratch a back or that couldn't walk up the stairs without using assistance. It's like those small things you forget that's actually requires a certain level of strength to do. Mm-hmm. So that's why I really think it's important for females to strength train.
Yeah, 100%. And even thinking about it from an ex-phys and physio standpoint, you really break every movement down to the bare minimum. Yeah. You will always regress how can you regress it as much as possible. So you forget that there's so many steps in between from like, what can you do if someone can't walk upstairs? What can you do if someone can't pick up a box? What if someone's injured and they can't deadlift? Yeah. What are all the regressions like Matt right now. Do?
Yeah, and I love that because you, like, that was something as well that I was like a bit of because I wanted you to do it because I just know it was good for you. Yeah. Obviously, I wanted to work with you. You were like my guinea pig, the first person I've ever mentored, like properly, like from scratch. Yeah. But I was also like, dude, if you do this and you become a PT and it's literally going to simulate like the same thing as physio or EP, like it's working with patients or clients and it's like you're giving them a service and it's one-on-one and it's you're analyzing the movement and prescribing exercises and regressing them, progressing them, etc. So it's literally the same shit. So whenever you eventually do whatever you want to do, you know, in the next few years, you're going to be a pro at it. Like even just starting off, you're going to be very, very ahead compared to someone that hasn't done what you have done.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
You will. Couple more questions.
Yes.
And we'll get into some Q&As from the people. Speaking of kind of movement and physio, injury.
Yes.
What's your experience with injury yourself and kind of how's that affected you and as an athlete and as a coach?
Yeah. I think the first time as I said, I wasn't really sporty growing up. So injury for me never really happened. I never
it was scary if it was to happen.
Yeah, it was never really a normal for me. When I first started powerlifting, honestly, a few weeks in, I injured my hip and I couldn't drive, I couldn't squat.
Wow.
And then I saw a physio who was not good and really shit. That kind of sparked my interest for physio. So I think
I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and I did. do it myself, and my hip was fine after. Never really knew what that was. Could have been a tear, who knows? But it took a while to heal, and it did. But I think that sparked my interest for physio, and also probably the first injury I've had, and first injury when starting powerlifting, and I was like, is this what powerlifting is?
Yeah.
Am I just going to be injured?
Yeah. You think it's your like norm, like when it first happened, scary. It's really scary.
Yeah, because I went from being able to do everything to like everything hurt. I couldn't move. But I think
is this me now?
It hasn't changed. But I think my biggest injury I've had to date was when I tore my meniscus in October of 2020.
That was a lot of adversity to go through.
That was a lot. I think it happened like 10 to 11 weeks out from States, I think. Maybe I got diagnosed 10 weeks out with a torn meniscus.
Crazy.
From squatting on my warm-up, which was... Yeah, everyone thinks, oh my God, when you get to such heavy weights, that's when you're going to get injured.
It's always a warm-up or a back off.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you don't even feel anything till after your session. Yeah. But yeah, I felt the pop go. And that was a scary time for me as like a young lifter too, who had never really gone through that. For me, I was like, it's all over. It's so over. How am I going to compete? How am I going to do it? Because I couldn't walk, couldn't do anything.
And you competed at State.
I still competed.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so
that's actually wild.
Like I saw my physio, Matt, at the time, and I was like, is there any chance I can compete? And he looked at me like I was crazy. But he had worked with athletes before, and he was like, look, if you really want to, you can. Like, you've got like 10 weeks. You probably could. And me being me, I was like, let's do it. I was super strict on my rehab. But I think I knew in the process of doing it that States wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I was going to be a better lifter and a better coach out of it. Well, I don't know, maybe 100%. Coach at the time. Yeah. But looking back now, I know it made me a better coach. Yeah. But and it matured me as an athlete a lot, I think, because I went from deadlifting, squatting, whatever, over 100 kilos to being happy when I got to walk down the stairs with no pain, or being able to walk. Like I went into a physio
changes
session.
Quick, man.
Yeah, he was like, "You're not walking properly," and I'm like, "What do you mean I'm not walking properly?" He was like, "We need to learn how to walk again, like properly, like set your feet down." And I was like, "What?" So, and I think that'll make me a better physio as well.
Big time.
But yeah, I came out of it knowing that it's kind of part of the process. Being patient with myself, and sometimes shit just happens at bad timing. You can't control when you're going to get injured. It might be 1 week out, it might be 20 weeks out, it might be 5 weeks out, but you do what you can. And I think a big thing for me is there's always something you can do. Like there's always an upper body exercise I could do, or there's always regressions you could do. I was still training. The week after I was still training. Day of I was still training. But the week after I was still training and still doing something, which I think was a big thing that I learned from that. It's always something you can do.
I agree. Yeah. That's a really big thing. I've hurt myself a few times. Yeah. Probably not like, I've torn my ACL. I've like bulged a disc in my back. Good amount. Nothing like crazy debilitating. Yeah. But more... Quite chronic with the back, to be honest. Yeah. More so psychologically as well. But there's always something you can do for sure. Like even if it's just upper body, like moving your body, promoting blood flows, it's always going to do more good than harm. You know, and it's very, very rare that you should literally just be in a bed for like a week and not move at all, unless you've just like shattered your femur or something. You know what I mean?
Because you've got a broken bone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like movement is medicine. Yeah. There's like always something to do. Even if I would show up to the gym just to do rehab and be around like the community, I think was a big thing. I don't think I would have been in the same mindset if it wasn't for you guys as well around me.
Imagine you did that at Plus and you were just a commercial.
I wouldn't have competed, I don't think. Wow. Like, it would have been much harder.
Just goes to show your community and your environment is everything.
Yeah, your environment makes a big difference. Yeah.
You did so well, man, to tear your meniscus and come back 11 weeks later.
And I think, I don't know if I would have hit comp PRs, but probably not the numbers I wanted to hit.
I think you did as well. Yeah, it's crazy. Looking back on it, that's actually crazy.
And I played a big part in programming as well. Or like, because I knew my body well and I knew what I could do. So I was very proactive in being like, I know I could do block pulls right now.
Yeah, that's good. You have to be, because when you're injured, only you know your body.
Yeah.
To that extent.
No one could tell me what 5 out of 10 pain feels like.
Yeah, literally. So you have to go, you know what, let's try block pulls, or let's do, these box squats eventually, or whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's really cool.
We competed.
That's awesome.
A big thing for me.
That's actually amazing. Because that was like quite early in your like career.
That would have been my second comp.
Yeah.
States was my second comp.
Yeah, that's crazy. Similar to me, I did my back like 3 months after my first comp. And like you, I, with the hip thing, I was like, oh, is this what like lifting is? Yeah. And I was like, fuck, this is not fun. And I was like, yeah. And then you see doctors and they do scans. They're like, oh, you can't do this. You'll never deadlift again. Like, that's stupid. Yeah, no. And I'm like, what? Really? I believed it. Yeah. Your belief is everything, and your environment is everything.
You got told you'll never deadlift again.
Yeah. I couldn't sit down for more than 5 minutes, Elissa. Yeah. For 3 months. 3 months couldn't sit down for more than 5 minutes. Not even like a minute or two without pain. Yeah. And then for 6 months, I couldn't like hinge properly. It was bad, man. Yeah. And I was moving. I was trying to do as much as I could, seeing different physios. It was really bad. And then for a year after that, I started on deadlifts, like block pulls. I even forced myself to do sumo because I was like, oh, less back, Sumo Lewis. Oh, bro, it was horrifying. Now I'm pulling conventional, hitting PBs,
300s around the corner.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's, fuck that guy. Yeah. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do.
100%.
Speaking of.
Yes.
Philosophy you stand by. I guess this is formed by everything we just spoke about.
It a bit.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's that comfort like doesn't breed success. I guess be uncomfortable is a big thing for me. I don't know if you've ever read The Alchemist, but you should. Oh, I'll give it to you. My client Lakshman gave it to me too.
Oh yeah,
it's something I think about all the time. Don't be comfortable for too long.
Yeah.
Like how I was really comfortable in reception, and you're like, Elissa, you've been here for so long, you need to move.
Yeah.
Or recently with me in my training, I was like, I'm too comfortable. I need to change. I need to move.
Yeah.
It's being able to know when you've been in comfort for too long and when you've stopped pushing yourself is a big thing. Especially as someone, like I would say I push myself quite a bit, but because there's so many avenues, sometimes some takes a toll.
Oh, look, naturally. You only have this much water a day, this many cups. You can't just spawn in more water. Yeah. You just got to sleep and replenish it for the next day.
And knowing when something needs to be pulled back and something needs to be pushed forward.
I like that. Yeah. That's really good. I think that's what makes you, and that's what makes you, successful. Yeah. And I think, what would you say is the most important factor on like knowing when you're too comfortable?
For me, there's always a little like voice in the back of my head that says, what are you doing right now? Literally, what is the point?
Yeah, so listen to,
Yeah, and I guess when you have when you have the desire for change or to grow and it doesn't go away after a little bit,
you should listen to yourself.
You should listen to it, because I would have the desire for change and I'd say, oh, I'm just being emotional right now. I'll like deal with it later. Or like something happens and then you're like, I need a change, but you're like, wait, let me think about it. If that same feeling doesn't go away, you should probably listen to it. Also, just don't let yourself shut off your like future plans, saying, oh, what are my future plans for 5 years? Ask yourself hard questions.
Yeah.
And be like,
well, don't shy from
from hard questions. Yeah. Because like I don't know what's going to happen in 12 months, but I still do think about what I would want to happen.
Yeah.
And am I doing everything right now to try and get there?
Yeah. Well, I've always been a big believer in your thoughts. Your thoughts just inevitably become your actions. I'm not even a believer. It's just a fact. I know it.
Yeah.
And like if you like kind of hide those thoughts and you're like, oh no, like I'm being emotional. Yeah. Then you won't think about the next 12 months and you won't plan for the future. And then when you are in 12 months ahead, you're like, oh shit, I could have built X, Y, and Z, but I was just, too comfortable in my routine. Yeah. Not that there's any issue with the routine, but like I think always pushing to improve. I think that's something that all powerlifters, like especially like I'd say long long-standing powerlifters that compete and just slowly get better and like steadily compete in the game for many years.
Yeah.
Like something they have in common is they all just want to improve. They're never happy being stagnant. Yeah. For me, it's like the biggest fear is being stagnant.
Yeah, the ceiling
in
always
anything.
gets higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like hitting an RP9 squat is never going to be comfortable.
Oh, dude, it's horrible, bro.
Growth?
Even warming up is horrible on squats. Dude, I did 200 kilos for my secondary squats yesterday, right? Yeah. Big win for me. Like, it felt better than my warm-ups. I was so happy with it, man. Like, honestly, so happy. Really well. Because 200 kilos, it's still heavy for me, you know? Yeah. When I went to the gym, it was like 140 was like, it took years to do.
Yeah.
And then 180 another year. And then, it's been a slug. Like, you and me can both really resonate for squats.
Yeah.
And building confidence is a big part.
Yeah.
And like, I did 170 for a while. I was like, fuck. I was like, that felt like really shit.
Yeah.
I was like, just added weight. I was like, just ignore myself.
Yeah.
I just ignored it.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing to like create, especially like I relate to that on squats, knowing when you're just scared to do something or if something actually feels heavy.
If it's something's really wrong.
Yeah. Knowing when you're just scared and you're like, I just need to add the weight and do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you did yesterday.
Yeah. But that's a lot on squat. That's what I mean. But that's just like, it's life. Like you do things, you go, I really don't want to do this. Like,
you have to put yourself.
But I probably should do it.
Yeah.
I wonder. I think my question is just, not everyone has that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah. I think it just depends how you're wired.
But everyone's always going to be in a situation of being uncomfortable if they want to.
Yeah.
See growth.
There's no like champion or whatever future, whatever, like someone that's really successful that has had it easy. Yeah. And they're like, oh, bro, it's so easy. Like, I don't struggle at all. Yeah. Like, there's some sort of struggle.
Just accepting that.
I mean, that's a part of life, really. I think there was this Joe Rogan thing I was watching, and it was like the human organism is to like designed to suffer and struggle. Like, otherwise, what's the point? Like, your body, no wonder you get depressed. Like, you have people, they wake up, they eat, they go to work and sleep and just repeat that. And there's nothing else that's happening. No hobbies, no like hanging out with mates, or like no pushing themselves to do anything else. Or even, I think a lot of people, their struggle of finding their purpose is within their career, which is warranted. It makes sense because they're trying to like climb the corporate ladder, and that's their struggle. Like, I'll work harder, do overtime hours and not get paid for it because that's there, and that kind of makes sense. But I think it's just to not struggle is but on the other side of the coin, there's times where you should like give yourself a bit of slack and rest a little
100%,
bit. There's definitely a balancing act there.
Yeah, you can't put 100% in all the time.
Yeah, you can't just be David Goggins every day. Like, stay hard. Yeah. Even with training, right? You got to deload. You can't just max out all the time.
Yeah. Oh, those are the days.
Those were the days.
But yeah, no. And growth doesn't have to be in like career-wise or like lifting-wise. Like, you have so many avenues of life.
Dude, you could become a better painter.
100%.
Like, that's growth and struggle in itself. Yeah. Like,
become a better friend.
This is shit. Yeah. Be a better partner, better brother, better sister.
100%.
Yeah. But to struggle would be like, hey, like, you realizing, you know what, I could probably be better. Like, oh, I wasn't really a great, partner this month. I'm going to work on that or whatever it is. Yeah.
And that's not
I think ego is a big thing, because if you have too high of an ego, you don't accept that you're shit at something.
Yeah.
And then you just go, oh, nah, like, I'm good. Yeah. It's like, no, you're not. You could probably be a bit leaner. You could probably be a bit smart. Like, you're never perfect. No one's perfect.
Yeah. There's always reflection to be done.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome, man. Well, that kind of caps out all the questions we had. I think that was pretty fantastic. We've got a few questions.
All right.
Let's get stuck into it. So a couple of them, I think there's one solid one, which might...
Okay.
But to break it up, we'll ask some of the other ones. So this is from Shah. Why do you have the urge to punch me all the time?
You're going to make me seem... Actually, Shah, you're one up on me. I get to punch you once.
Bro, she's going to come in with that uppercut with the phone, just like dig in the rib.
I don't know. I think that's how I show affection sometimes.
Yeah, bro.
Physical touch.
Yeah, me too. I like to just shake people and like just tee them up a bit.
When you laugh, you're like...
Yeah, literally.
You shake people.
Oh, bro, I do. It's bad. If I'm really laughing, I'll like shake the whole room. I'll do one of these ones. Joe Rogan on UFC. Oh! Yeah, true. That's your
Who's gonna
thing.
get thrown across him? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think my thing is like punching, but not actually hard.
Yeah.
Take it as a compliment, Shah.
Means she loves you, bro.
Yeah,
That's all.
100%.
You're a good man. You're a good man, Shah.
Sometimes.
Jaden, who wins a tempo bench battle, you or me?
Jaden, now him.
Dude, Jaden was doing like a 40-second tempo. He was like,
Hey, I did win when we battled, but
True.
bro's repping 100.
Yeah.
He'll win now, unless we even out the percentage wise. Maybe I'm happy for a rematch.
ooh,
But-
John, rematch?
I'm less
Come on,
confident
I want to see
now.
some tags. I want to see some tags. And we got a classic favorite and least favorite lift. I can already tell here. Let's mix it. We'll do one for SBD, one for accessories.
Okay, favorite
From Poshkin.
favorite SBD, deadlift. Who would have thought?
Bro, that's crazy. Who would have known?
Least favorite squat.
All right, that's out the way.
Accessory.
Same.
But accessory favorite. Oh, I loved RDLs for. I guess that's kind of a deadlift. I guess a shoulder press. I love
Yeah?
a shoulder press.
I like a shoulder press.
Or like tricep push down. Watching yourself do a
Oh.
tricep push down in the mirror.
Oh,
is a
bro,
great
it's the best
time.
feeling. Seeing those tries come out of the shirt.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Least favorite.
Dude, tricep pump is like the best.
Crazy.
And chest.
Yeah.
Chest
Oh,
and
I
tricep.
do like leg extensions. Okay, this is a few. I love a drop set leg extension.
That's dirty.
Yeah. Least favorite lateral raises. Is it? I
Yeah.
don't like lateral raises.
Yeah.
They're just uncomfortable. They're
Really?
just- yeah. I feel it. It's working.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't like doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's
And
an
a lot of my
interesting one.
clients don't. It's a very.
That is
What do
interesting.
you think? Wait, what's your least favorite
My least favorite,
accessory?
like I just don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like pendulum for sure.
Oh,
But
yeah,
like,
no.
but just because it's like my least favorite doesn't mean it doesn't do great things for me.
Oh, no, 100%.
Like hack squat right now is fucking hard. Like I kind of
Yeah.
tweaked my back yesterday on hack squat, like low
Yeah.
key. It's fine, but like I was just like, oh, I hate hack squat. To be fair, I did it like beltless and sleeveless. I probably
Okay.
should have belted
When
it.
I did hack squat sleeveless, it was not a fun time.
Dude, yes, yeah, it's just like, I think just because of our leverage, it's like extra hard.
Yeah,
but
it's just really hard.
that's what it's my least favorite, but it kind of makes me like it because I know I'll get a lot out of it. You know what I mean?
That's kind of like me with Bulgarians right now.
Yeah, oh,
They're
that's
back on my
horrible.
pro. They're
Yeah.
horrifying, but I kind of like it because I
Yeah.
know you feel it working. You
Yeah.
feel it doing good things to you, like any exercise.
Yeah.
But I know this is going to be good.
Yeah. I developed a bit of a like just whatever. Like if you don't like an exercise, I'm actually kind of like, oh, you know what? I should like really give it extra attention because I don't like it for a reason. It's
Yeah.
probably because I'm shit at it.
Yeah, if
and I always
someone-
tell that to my
yeah.
athletes. Like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
like this. I'm like,
Why?
well, first of all, send me a video of it, right?
Yeah.
And then tell me why.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, do it like this, and
Yeah.
then try.
Yeah.
They do it, and then they get strong, and then the SPD goes up, and I was like,
Yeah, that's fine.
there you go.
100%.
Sometimes it's like, you know what? They prefer another lift because obviously enjoyment's really important as well.
Yeah,
And you just
both.
like, you know, instead of skull crushers, do some
Yeah.
cable overhead or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you haven't given it a proper go and
You
you're
got to
not
give
doing
it a go.
right, you can't say
As an
you don't
athlete,
like
you
it.
got to give it a real proper go, man.
Proper go.
I was talking to Lockie yesterday. I think someone else as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been benching 3 times a week for like 6-7 months, and like my bench just is not moving at all.
Yeah.
Always feels shit. Like it always feels heavy. 100 kilos feels heavy as like 170 kilo bench
Yeah.
presser.
Yeah.
My tendons are just cooked all the time.
Yeah.
I was like to Lewis, please.
Yeah.
Like my coach. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, can we just try 2 times? Like I've given it a good go because he
Yeah.
was really against it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was that was an occasion where I really gave it a good go.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you know what? Like I really feel like I need to get this off my chest. Please just give me 1 block and let's see. It's feeling amazing. Like the best it's ever felt in like a year. So
Wow.
sometimes you gotta, but that's a small instance. For the most part, like with my coach and I think even my athletes, for me, just let coach do the thing and just do what you're told. It's most of the time going to work out well,
Yeah.
but give your suggestion and be like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
if this certain exercise feels really, really shit or, you know, whatever frequency, it's important to give your feedback.
Yeah, we need
You
it
know,
as
but
coaches.
it's also important to just like give it a good crack.
Yeah.
Like
Give it
a
good
lot of
go.
people
Yeah.
just go, oh, I've done swimming for like 2 weeks. Nah, it just feels off. I'm like, dude,
It's not gonna
2
feel
weeks is
good.
nothing. Like Posh,
Yeah.
Posh is just getting used to swimmer now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously his externals have been pretty rough recently, but like
Yeah.
it's been like 6-9 months of sumo, and like now it's really starting to take off.
Yeah.
In the first few months, he was like having hip issues, like this and that.
I remember. Yeah.
Probably same with you. Like starting sumo, it
was not comfortable.
Yeah.
Even my client Elissa, she's doing belt squat right now. She doesn't like it, and her form can still use work, and it's getting better every week. You can't. I'm not taking it out of your program. You're stuck with it until you do it. You do it well. You load it. You do it for a block, and then see how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's staying in there.
Yeah, I love that. Amazing. I think we'll finish there, man, because I think that's definitely over 45 minutes. No. But that's okay. That's all right. We'll finish there. Thanks so much for jumping on board.
Thank you, man.
Elissa.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thanks for listening to all the listeners at home. I will be on YouTube, Spotify, and we might put a couple. Oh, bro. So we'll leave it there. We love you, Aki, but send us some more PG questions, brev.
Ones I can actually go on here.
Thanks, guys.